There's a reason why people aren't successful, or, they don't feel like they have the willpower to do it, because it's not right. That's actually not the right way to do this. And everybody wants to talk about how to measure things and how to, what food to eat and what not to eat and why and the amount of fat and all that. But if we don't have this part down, these two things, then it will fail. And I am proof of that. I can share this with you so that you don't fail, and obviously you can get what you want, which is an entirely new reality to be the person you want to be, feel the way you want to feel, have the friends you want to have, the income you want to have, and make this life happen. Really, it's all just so overcomplicated in my eyes. I've worked with people now for a long time. I'm a carnivore coach. I've been eating this way for a very long time myself as well. And I've just seen a lot of different situations of people's backgrounds and where they come from. And I truly believe there are two missing pieces for what people lack in terms of reapproaching their lifestyle to achieve success. And that might be to lose weight. That might be to get away from autoimmune disease. That might be, a bajillion different things. But across the board, there are these two fundamental things that people don't recognize, that this is the solution. And instead, people are trying to use willpower. What I want to talk about first and foremost is the first part, which is fundamentally at our core, we have to look at our perceptions of reality. And if we're struggling with willpower, not have a ton of sugar and not have a lot of processed foods, because that's what we've been eating for so long, that's an indication that fundamentally at our core, we have a belief that eating packaged foods and foods that are from fast food, like Popeyes and let's say McDonald's, we believe that that is in fact normal. And what I'm getting at is that is a program that has been embedded in us since birth. When we're born, we are all born with environments around us, our parents and their lives, their lifestyles, the area that we live in, whether it's the States or another place. Are we in a faith-based community or not? The food that our parents eat, the way that they consume substances, whether that's alcohol or medicine or whatever that is. Their beliefs of healthcare impact our beliefs from healthcare. So for me, growing up, I had parents that, my mom, she owned restaurants growing up, so I kind of had that way. I never really had to learn how to cook. And then on my dad's side, he loves sugar. Never wanted to cook, never needed to cook. Everything that I ate was like Popeyes, or I know y'all probably know Popeyes chicken, but really, really good. That honey mustard sauce, bomb. But ramen was what I had. Pancakes from Bisquick. I think I had 8 cavities by the time I was 8 years old because I had so many ring pops, those ones that you could get from the store. We would go drive to my family's and do a road trip every year, and I'd have tons of ring pops, and I ended up having 8 cavities. If that kind of gives you guys an idea of the type of food I was attracted to when I was younger and what was around me. So that definitely framed my perception of the type of food that I thought was okay to eat. For a lot of us, we grow up in this world where all of these foods in the grocery stores, everything we see on the walls is packaged and it's beautiful and it tells us that it's going to make us better, and we believe it's normal. So we believe that it's normal to give our kids Gushers as a snack. We believe that it's normal to eat protein bars that might have 25 grams of sugar in them. And we think that health problems often come from aging, or bad genetics. And so we're used to this concept of as we age, we take more medications, dementia is normal, Alzheimer's is normal-ish, being overweight is relatively normal. Anxiety is so damn normal. I was so anxious growing up. When I hit the age of I think I was 15 or so, I got on Prozac. No one questioned much of what I was eating. No one questioned much of my environment. And so ultimately what I'm getting at is, for anybody that's entering this lifestyle of doing carnivore or animal-based, or even if it's vegan or vegetarian or whatever it is, we all have the ability to change and shift and, recreate our realities. But fundamentally, we have to challenge the programs that have been embedded in us since birth. And that could be because, our family, our parents, and I'm not even saying they're all bad either. I'm not saying that. But what I think was a real big shift for me in changing my entire reality, meaning I look the way I want to look, I feel the way I want to feel. I'm always happy for the most part. My income has dramatically increased. I have amazing friends. I have amazing family. I'm just like all around really blessed. And I've been in other places where I haven't been that way. One of the fundamental things that's changed for me is acknowledging that my belief systems aren't always accurate. I think so many of us overcomplicate this whole approach to life, and we're like, okay, I can't like eat this. I gotta eat is chicken good? Is turkey good? Like, can I eat shrimp or whatever? Can I have fish? The point is processed food food? Is that food? Or is that something that's been put there by companies who are looking to generate profit? And it's been infused in us to believe that it is food. We've all been normalized to eat all of these little packaged little thingies because that's what everybody else does. We've been socialized to think that we get sick because we get old and we get sick, and that's it. You know, we have bad genetics. We've been normalized. It's been normalized to think that we should just be able to have medications, and that our medications should be there, and it's normal to have other medications for the side effects of those medications. Like, why? Like, human beings have evolved for millions of years, literally 2 million years, without the need of a pill. And I'm not saying that the healthcare system is all bad. I'm not saying that, but I am saying that it's a relatively new system that's been invented for us. And if we don't look at our perception of what we actually think about food and how it impacts us, then we're going to constantly be in this place of struggling. Conversely, is sugar something that we should be having in such high amounts that it's in everything, even a lot of the bacon that we buy, which I know a lot of you guys see my other videos where I say try to get the bacon that doesn't have sugar. Does that even make sense that there's sugar in everything? Should human beings be ingesting as much sugar as we do? Challenging those types of things will bring about a different set of questions and another view on the way that we work through our days. A lot of times we try really hard to use willpower to force ourselves to not eat these things. And I don't know that really works. It hasn't worked for me. It's a fundamental reworking of our programs and our perceptions of reality for what we've been given to actually shift that and maybe go against what the masses think, going against the grain. So a lot of times we struggle with willpower because our perspective on what we're doing is maybe not aligned with who we're trying to become. So this goes into the second thing of what I wanted to talk about is, who are we trying to become? You know, like, I think a lot of us are at this point where we're tired of feeling tired. We're tired of feeling sick. We're tired of feeling anxious and depressed. We're tired of being so hungry. You know, we're tired of like being on medications. I know, you know, for me, I'm 30, and I know a lot of the people I speak with are a little bit older. Y'all are tired of feeling like crap. I know that. And I feel for you too. Like, I feel for people that have been misled to believe that a lot of the food, the processed food, isn't damaging them internally. So at this point though, it's now more the conversation of fixing the internal. So this is gonna be a part where either you're gonna stick with me or you're not gonna stick with me. Either way, this is for people that are here and ready to hear this, because it does matter. This is totally how I have changed my entire life. I now have a channel where I get to work with people on this. Like I said, I have an amazing job. I have amazing friends, great income. Like, this is not to be braggadocious. This is to show you that I am the proof of this. Okay, I had an eating disorder for years. Now I make a career off of, in part, talking about the way that food is medicine in a sense. So when we are trying to reinvent our realities and reinvent the programs, we have to work from within, meaning we have to adjust our vibe. And so if we feel sad all the time, and if we feel bummed all the time, and we feel like we're a victim all the time, that's what we're gonna get. We're gonna get all of that. It's so real. It's so real. Like, if you feel like you just are so out of control and you don't have anything that you can't impact your health, then you're not gonna impact your health, and it's gonna be out of your control, and you're gonna continue to live the life that you've gotten so far. What I'm getting at with this is, if our intent is to change our income potential and build a new life for ourselves and stop having an eating disorder and stop being overweight, let's say obese, and we just want to stop feeling sick, you know, we want to have a greater purpose in life, we want to have more friends, better friendships, and better relationship with our partner, Let's say we want to, build a career for ourselves and have an amazing hobby and all of these things. Are we going to do that by sitting there and talking and being low vibe energy? Like, is any of that going to happen for us if we're totally countering the identity that we're trying to reinvent as a new program within us? It won't happen. What we are tasked with doing is acknowledging that we have to feel and act a way that we want, as if the version of ourselves that we're looking to be, to slowly but surely shift our vibe into a place of becoming that person. And why that matters is that when we become that person, let's say, who acknowledges that maybe processed food actually is what is making billions of people sick, maybe that person won't actually even want to eat the processed food anymore because we know that it makes us feel crappy. It's kind of like, when I decided to stop drinking, I wasn't like an alcoholic by social standards, but I had, this thing sometimes where if I drank, I would drink too much. So it was like this thing that was always in the back of my mind where it's like, I want to drink, but I don't want to drink too much. And I have fun with my friends when I'm doing it. So I didn't want to stop doing it. But over time, a month would go by and then I'd drink too much and I'd act a fool. And I'd say something that was out of character for me. On my normal day-to-day, Monday through Friday, I was a very high achieving, high performing person. And I started to grow into that personality more and more and more. And then, as I started to get older, my days of drinking on the weekends were still there. But, I would drink on a Friday and then all these plans that I had for a Saturday to go do this exploring thing or go work out or stick to my, eating clean thing or hang out with friends, all of it would fall apart because I was hungover. And it would last for 3 freaking days. I would feel hungover. And so, I wasn't acting as this person I believed I was becoming. And it was these vibes were totally off. They were missing one another. And it wasn't until I started seeing how alcohol was affecting my mom's world. She ended up passing away in part from alcoholism years later, but I saw the slow decay of how it was happening. And I saw it with other family members of mine too. I witnessed it growing up. The slow decay of how things happen, how it's all cool and it's all fun until it takes over. I started to change my perception of what it meant to drink alcohol. I don't know that I would have had that had I not seen how it could affect people so close to me. Disclosure, I don't judge anybody who drinks. I don't care if people drink. I don't think that we should ban alcohol or anything like that. It's more, just the same way I don't think we should ban processed foods. It's more of a reality shift for me, a reprogramming of my perception of the thing itself. So back to what I was saying, I got to a point where I started seeing how much pain alcohol was causing the people in my life, coupled by the fact that I would go on a weekend and the vibe that I had all week was just fell apart on the weekend when I was hungover. And I would be tired and I'd feel bad and I'd feel sick, and it was a total just opposite feeling of what I wanted to feel like and who I was trying to be. If I couple those two things together, slowly my perception of what I started to see alcohol as changed. And I stopped actually even wanting it. And it was literally one day, I just was I don't want this anymore. That's just not who I am anymore. I don't care to drink anymore. I'm not drinking anymore. And it was boom, my entire identity shifted because my vibe raised. So I think this is something to, again, be aware of for those of us that are trying to reinvent our realities. It's not enough to just say, I'm going to measure my food and I'm going to have it at these days and this and that. We need to be aware of our internal compass of who are we trying to become, and are we acting like that person or creating the environment for ourselves to become that person consistently, or are we acting against it? So to tie this back into food, let's say, would somebody who looks good and feels good and who wants to reinvent their life and who wants to, who understands the food system and the big pharma system and the, big food world and how processed food is terrible for us and how seed oils are terrible for us, would that person eat all that stuff on a day-to-day basis? Would they even really want to? Or because they understand how it's going to negatively impact their vibe, they don't even want it anymore. That's the shift, is like, I want to feel good. I want to look good. And now I have a roadmap into recognizing what makes me feel and look good. I no longer need to fight so hard against the things that maybe take away from that. And so that's the second thing, is like acknowledging that there is a vibe within us. Everything, this is, some of us are going to think this girl's crazy. She's lost it. This is true. This is science. This is fact. Everything has a vibration to it. Every molecule, every atom, this is vibrating constantly. My credit card is vibrating constantly, my bracelet, my body, everything, all of us, it all has a vibration. The atoms and the molecules vibrate. And we can affect the vibration within us by what we eat, what we think, what we ingest, how we perceive of reality. We have to acknowledge that there is an internal vibe within all of us that is shifted by the programs we choose to infuse in ourselves, and choosing to look at things that have been instilled in us maybe a little bit differently. We can literally reinvent our entire world by shifting our internal vibe and by shifting the way that we see things, to reinvent the programs in ourselves, to reinvent our entire realities and our perception of what this reality is. And sometimes that does require going against the grain. It's these two things that we really have to focus on. They're intangibles. I am so appreciative of you guys. Right now, it's about 75% of the people that watch this channel are not subscribed. I really would hope that we can shift that down. I think my goal would be to have it be about 50. The reason being is because when we have subscribers, the guests that I can get on can be that much bigger and better. And obviously we want bigger, better guests so we can learn what's going on in our world and understand the truth. So if you haven't subscribed, please do me a favor and subscribe. Go ahead and like this if you did like it. Share this if you think it's worth sharing. Also, you guys can message me on Instagram. It's lknight__h. I talk to a lot of people on there privately. Some of this is a little bit private, you know. Follow me on Spotify. And as always, drop comments below if you agree, disagree. You might be like, this girl's crazy. Would love to see it. And I love talking to you guys, and, you know, just all of this. I so appreciate you guys. So anyways, hope you guys like this one. I'll see y'all on the next one. See ya.